Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a business growth strategist where I help business owners grow, scale, cut costs, and increase profit. And today, I have an awesome guest. He's a business coach, trade contractor, and mining industry business consultant, and is the owner of Awaken Business, where he is driven to create freedom for trade and mining business owners. He spent 15 years working in and leading a successful trade contractor business in the building and construction and mining industry, where he helped grow the company from a two-man operation to a team of 80, delivering over 150 million in sales. Welcome, Michael Scotney, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you, Athin, for that very amazing introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, and I can't wait to chat today and share some value with your guests, with the viewers.
Yeah, awesome, mate. So awesome to have you here. I'm sure there's going to be huge amounts of value that's going to be shared. So firstly, you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Yeah, so look, I live and grew up in regional Queensland, up in Mount Isa in a mining town. Got a trade out of school and fell in love with the trade industry. Had a passion for entrepreneurialism from the get-go. Always thought like a contractor, and it wasn't long before I was in leadership positions in a contractor business. Like you said, I started as a two-man show, and we quickly grew that up to about 80 over about 5 or 6 years. And over the 15-year period, we did well over 150 in sales. And I learned a lot about business on that journey. But one of the key things I realized is that most tradies don't really know a lot about business, and they learn it the hard way. And if I knew now what I knew 15 years ago, we would have had a completely different business with numbers 10 times what we're talking about. And it sort of helped me to develop some really key concepts that I applied with my clients now, and that I implemented over the time as I learned them. It drove me to go to university and study a master's in business, because I knew I needed more skills, as well as countless hours, hundreds of thousands of dollars in professional and personal development, so that I could learn the skills to really take advantage of what business offers.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Great story, and love it how you've got all that experience, and now you're going back and helping it, and done the MBA as well. I went back and did one too, and it just gives us a nice broad range of business, and then that coupled with the actual knowledge of being in the businesses, and that I think is a great recipe for success there. So awesome, mate. Love it. And I know that you have a system called the 5 pillars of business freedom. So initially, do you want to maybe just share what they are and how they can help us?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, over that 15 years, sort of come to realize a few things, and to create business freedom, because let's face it, most business owners go into business because they want more freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, more freedom, and whatever that means for you. But generally, most people that I speak to, that's why they went into business. And what I realized is that some businesses have more freedom than others. And when I spoke to those and even implementing some of this stuff and the learnings, what I realized is that there's 5 main pillars that if you get these right, that's the formula for freedom in a business. I'll start with the first one, and it's probably the most important, and that's people. Freedom isn't possible in business, in the service and trade and construction industry anyway, without people, because it's a service business that relies on people. You need to get your people right, and then develop and grow and invest in them, and leadership skills and all of that kind of stuff, the soft skills and the hard technical skills that are involved in delivery of your service. That's one of the key pillars, and that's where I've found a lot of businesses need a lot of work is in the people space, and that's probably one of the main ones. From there, it goes into the processes, and this is the systems and the processes, and not just the hardware you use or the software program you use, but the systems and processes like your sales process or your recruitment process, or your customer service process. How do you make sure your customers are getting looked after? All the processes in your business. And if you can standardize and systemize these and really make them consistent, that goes a long way to scaling your business. The next one is marketing. In our industry, you've got to market for talent, as well as market for sales, and market to bring customers in. So it's really really critical, I suppose, in business, that we get our marketing right, and that we're sending the right message, the right branding out to our potential clients, so that we attract the right people to work with us. Sales. Anyone who's in business that says they're not in sales is either kidding themselves or they're delusional, because without sales, a business doesn't happen. So sales is another one of those pillars, and it's one that lots of people often drive and focus on because it's all about getting the revenue in and the sales so that they can get more money. So that's one that often is fairly concrete as it is, but that's one of the really important pillars to get that right. And the last one is leadership. Without the right leadership in a business, it won't last long. People get burnt out, exhausted, culture turns south, and so that's really, really important that you get the leadership pillar right too. So they're the 5 pillars in business, and they're the 5 things. If you get those right, then you'll have a successful business that creates freedom for you and everyone involved.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love those pillars, and yes, they're definitely extremely important in all of that. And yeah, let's delve into the I guess the people one, right? Because I think that's a powerful one, right? That we need definitely others to help us, because we can't do it ourselves, even though we may start like that initially. So and you know, obviously initially it's hiring people, right? We want to hire the right people in our business is extremely important. So initially, how do we attract, you know, top talent to be in our business?
Yeah, look, once you've been in this and you get all the foundations in place, attracting talent becomes easier. And the foundations is your purpose and mission and values and these kinds of things, because it helps you decide who it is you actually need in your business, as well as the skill sets. So this is where the key is in attracting people. It's a people game. So you need to hire people, not a position. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see big business owners make, is they recruit for a position, not a person. So you want a type of person to fill a role in your business. So then you need to recruit for that person. So you need to attract the right people, not necessarily someone who can fill a position. Because there might be 1,000 people out there that can fill the position, but there might only be 200 of that particular type of person that you need. You might need someone who's energetic and motivated and really customer focused, because they love to give and add value in a customer service position. So that's the kind of person you want. But you might have someone who doesn't have all of those skills, but's been in customer service for 20 years. So they might not be the right person for your business, even though they've got the skill experience, but they're not the right person. So one of the keys to attracting the right talent to your business is knowing exactly what kind of person it is you need, and then writing an ad or putting out advertising, marketing, recruitment strategies to attract that type of person.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Yeah, very true. And yeah, definitely completely agree with the purpose, you know, mission value side of thing, because that's what people want to do, right? They want to, you know, align themselves with a business that's really, aligned with everyone. So that's, love it, mate. And then once we obviously attract them, we've hired them, right? The talent, we need to retain them, right? We want to keep them, because people can leave, right? In a business, you know, for whatever reason. And there's this talk of this sort of great resignation. There's a lot of people, you know, around this time that are moving around. So we want to make sure we retain our great talent that we've hired. So what tips can you give, you know, to hold on, you know, to our talent long-term as well?
Yeah, look, this is a big topic at the moment. Like you said, the great resignation. And one thing that you'll find is that people rarely leave a job for money. That's just the excuse they give themselves, or to justify why they left, because money is an easy one to understand. You can say, oh, I can get better money over there. And then people go, oh, okay, I understand. And nobody has that awkward conversation, or no one feels bad because they've left for money. So, but the real reason quite often when you dig down is people leave because they either want opportunity or they want a better culture or a better environment to work in. And so often it's really important to retain your team, that you understand what it is they want, what drives them, so that you can provide those opportunities for them to grow, whether it's in technical skill to be the industry leader, or whether it's leadership development, or whether it's they just want to fit in an environment that lets them excel at their role and they don't have career prospects to drive to the next level. But it's about understanding what motivates them, what it is they want and desire in their career, and then creating opportunities or creating situations in your business that can give them those opportunities or provide that for them, whatever it is they want. But the first step, I must say, is really understanding on a deeper level what motivates, what drives, what kind of person you're dealing with, and what it is that they desire long-term career-wise or otherwise. Because that's the first step, I think, to retaining talent, is really understanding what motivates them and why they're there.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. And obviously linked to that as well, you know, you mentioned is leadership, right? It's important because we've got to be able to lead these people when we're growing our business as part of that. So, you know, us being the leader is the, I guess, the founder and the owner, if we're in that position, or then other people, you know, that are, as we grow and bring more people into the business. So if we talk about leadership, how can we be, you know, better leaders, you know, with our team as well?
So look, the way you can be a better leader is learn the skills. Like some people are born with some natural leadership ability, or they've learnt natural leadership ability and they've practiced it over their life, so it looks natural to them. But for the vast majority of the population, leadership skills need to be learnt, and leadership is a behavior, not a position. So you need to learn different behaviors and different skills that will help you. And there's, you know, 30 or 40 odd competencies in the leadership bracket. There's, you know, communication and goal setting and motivating people. There's a whole stack of skills that are involved around the leadership. So if you want to develop your skills, the very first step is to understand where you are. If you want to achieve anything in your life, the very first step is to understand the current situation, where it is you are and where the gaps are. So what I work with people in the leadership space is we do an assessment and work out where you are right now, where are your strengths that we can leverage, where are your areas for improvement that we can work on. And then it's a matter of finding the skills or teaching, training, coaching, mentoring those skills to speed the process up. The reality is you can learn leadership skills through experience, but what's the cost of the business of taking time to do that over the next 10 to 20 years when you can invest some time and money into your team, into your leaders to really develop those skills, or into yourself even to develop those leadership skills to speed that process up. Now, there was a study by Forbes, I believe it was, and they said that every dollar invested in leadership training has a 415% ROI. You know, so it's a bit of a no-brainer that if you put money into your team, it's going to come back to your business fourfold. So it's one of the key ways to pick up leadership skills is to do some training, invest in leadership development in some capacity.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I completely agree. So important. You know, what's linked to leadership, I guess, and we've touched on it a bit before, is culture, right? The culture of the business, like, you know, where people are in there for people like, you know, wanting to stay or potentially leave, like you said. So how do we like ensure that we have a great culture, you know, how we can cultivate that, you know, in our business as well?
Yeah, that's a great question, Athin. So with a culture, you've got to understand what makes up the culture. What are the values? What are the guidelines? What are the standards of the rules that are going to, the acceptable behavior that is either implied or said? Because there's the things with culture, there's implied rules that people think that this is the rule because that's what's implied through behavior or otherwise. So it's really important that we understand what all those are and set what they actually want to be, and then create behaviors that support that culture, and then protect that at all costs. The culture needs to be maintained. No one is more important than the culture, and setting that standard of expectation is really, really, really powerful. And once you've got that standard of expectation, it's just a matter of holding people to their own commitment. So you get people's buy-in on the culture and get together as a team and work out what you want the business to stand for and what the culture is going to be about. And then it's a matter of holding everyone to that standard. And one of the key things to doing that is making sure everybody gives permission to hold you to that standard. Everyone has buy-in, because then it's a matter of just people holding them to what they've said they're going to do. And it's not you telling them how to be the culture. It's the culture. It becomes self-sustaining once the culture has a set of beliefs and rules that support itself and keep the momentum up. It's once you've been a part of a really strong culture, it's really powerful, and it's really important as a business leader and a business owner to understand what makes up your culture and then protect that at all costs, because that's actually the competitive advantage of the business, is its people and its culture, because that's what will give you the difference in a service industry. So if you're an electrician, there's thousands of electricians out there. Why should I choose you over someone else? 9 times out of 10, it's because of the people and the culture and what you've created there that's going to set your service delivery apart from everybody else's.
Yeah, love it, mate. Completely agree. And I love those little areas there of, what makes us different, right? And how do we create that environment, right, where people enjoy being there or interacting with us at the same time. So, and I guess one, final piece of this with people as well, especially ourselves as the business owner, is our mindset, right? Because this will a big factor in determining, how well we're going to succeed, or potentially what's holding us back as well, because we can as you probably know in your experience too, that when we teach, the same strategies, right, to 10 different people, we're going to get likely 10 different outcomes. And a lot of the time it's because of their mindset, right, of what's there, and how quickly, they move, etc. from there. So yeah, how important is mindset, and maybe how are some ways that, that we can improve our mindset as well at the same time?
Yeah, so mindset is absolutely critical. Like you mentioned it before, if you teach it to 10 different people, you're likely to get 10 different outcomes. And I've been in the same room beside somebody in the same business, in the same industry, with the same strategies, and it's 100% mindset that was the difference between success and failure in those instances. And it's so powerful that once you get your mindset right, it makes your decision making and your processing of information on another level. It really keeps you in good stead to take on the challenges of business, because there's lots of challenges in business, but having the right mindset allows you to step over them and step into those challenges rather than run from them, hide from them, deflect them, and do those things that cause bigger problems in the future. So one of the things that I've found with mindset is, like, there'll be times I like to think of our emotional state as a bit of a pendulum, with, say, negative on the left and positive on the right. And it's not about never being on the left and the negative. It's just about not staying there for very long. You might get frustrated or angry when people don't do what you say, or when something lets you down, or there's a million things, that can go wrong in a business that can cause frustration or anger even. But it's about feel that, okay, sweet, and then swing yourself back to the other side. And one of the most powerful ways that I've found and to just stop that negative thought is just do some count, box breathing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, out for 4. Do that 3 or 4 times, and it stops the train of thought, that negative flood of thoughts and what if doubts, all the things that come up, all that frustration. It stops that instantly, and then you go, all right, what's the one thing I can focus on right now that's going to move me forward? And that single question has been the difference between a shitty day and a great day, and that's the difference between having making a poor decision and making a good decision, because you've shifted yourself from that frustration, disappointment, anger, wherever it was, to moving forward. And once you start that momentum forward again, that's a really positive thing. And you can go, okay, what's the one thing I can do now? Okay, well, I can make this phone call to whoever and fix the problem or whatever. And then you start on the positive cycle, and it quickly swings you back on the other side of the pendulum. And that's one of the things that I've found has been absolutely pivotal for business owners, is being able to control where you sit on that pendulum and not stay too long on the negative side.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I love that strategy there on how to get back as quickly as possible into a better state, like you said, so we can make better decisions in our business well. So some powerful stuff there on that people around that area side. And let's talk about the other side a little bit about business. And I think I want to delve into numbers a little bit more, right? Because knowing our numbers is extremely important, right, in our business. And some people love numbers, some people don't love numbers as much, and probably need a little bit more help than them. And maybe there's obviously some other people that can help them with that. So it helps us make better decisions as well, right? It's not just about the mindset, it's about the numbers to make better decisions. And so do you want to maybe delve into why is knowing our numbers important, and maybe what are some numbers that are great to measure and manage in our business as well?
Yeah, look, numbers are critically important. Too often you see in business, and you would have seen it with clients you work with when you talk to them, they're not sure if they're making a profit, or they're not sure what their numbers sit, so they can't make decisions. Without knowing where your numbers and your profitability and sales and the costs of things, you can't make accurate decisions on good business decisions that are going to make more profit and more revenue for the business, or bad decisions that are going to cost you money and cost you revenue. And what the real costs of things are, so it's really important if you want to have a sustainable business. And let's face it, we're in business for a purpose. Mine is to help business owners create freedom, but I want to create wealth out of that too. And profit, it's not a nasty word. It's the result of doing good business. So it's really important that you understand how you get that and measure that, so that you can do more of the activities that generate profit, and really help to grow your business or drive the success of your business. And you touch there on, some really important numbers. So a lot of people focus on sales, and sales is an important number, revenue, whatever you'd like to call it. It's a really important number because that's your total sales. That's where the money comes in. But some key numbers that I like to measure is it obviously is your sales. You want your profitability, your net profit at the end, but you want to look at your costs. In the service industry, we have costs of goods sold, and that includes your billable labor and any materials that you use to generate your revenue, and then all your overhead costs are really important numbers to measure too, where you sit and where that is. And one thing that I found is a really great tip for service-based businesses is to put those into percentages so you can keep them within windows. And as your business grows, you keep them within a window, or you can reduce it by a couple of percent to make a big difference in the profit. If you look at actual dollar values, it's not as powerful as if you run the percentages of the total, because that way, as the business scales, you can maintain control of those easier. In the service industry, one of the numbers that's really, really important to measure is your profit drivers. So in the trades and construction, the profit drivers are billable hours, because we sell labor and we sell material and other stuff with that. But billable hours represents as a key number that we need to work on as in the service industry to generate revenue. So it's really important that you understand how many billable hours it takes to get so many sales, how many billable hours it takes to get this, and the percentages of material that generally go with that, so that you can work out where you sit and budget and forecast, so that you can make smarter decisions about whether you should buy another vehicle and invest in another person, and how many billable hours do you need for that to work. And it's really important that you understand those numbers so that you can, like you say, make those smarter business decisions moving forward.
Yeah, love it, mate. Really powerful. And yeah, it's those cost drivers in the business, right? Because we want to make sure that we've got to be making a profit, because that's what allows us to grow the business at the same time, like you said, to hire more people, and everything like that, to be able to move there. Because without profit, it doesn't really happen, and everything like that in business. So really important, mate. Love it. And I guess what is maybe like, obviously you're dealing with a lot of different businesses, and we can say all the things that people should be doing, but there's a lot of mistakes, right, that people are doing out there as well. So maybe what do you see as some of, I guess, the biggest mistakes that some people are doing, in their business as well?
I think probably the biggest mistake, Athin, that I've seen in the last few years in business is, and I've been guilty of this myself in the past, is accepting poor behavior or poor attitude because of skill set. Letting people compromise the culture or the values of the business because of their skill set or ability to generate revenue. That's the foundation for toxic employees, which is the foundation to ruin any business and destroy a culture. It can take years to recover it after that. Probably the biggest mistake is he's been here a long time and he's got a good skill set, and look, we'll just let him get away with it. The damage that does to your team and the rest of the team and the culture takes years to repair. And it's probably the biggest mistake that I see happening across the board now. And like I said, in the past, I've been guilty of that myself. And I'm not here sitting on my high horse telling you I'm perfect by any stretch. And it was just as detrimental back then, but it's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've seen right now. And the other one is also around not understanding your numbers and your profit drivers. We touched on that just before, is what are the numbers I need to look at that generates revenue? People might say, oh yeah, I'll look at my sales and my profit, and that's great. But what are the numbers, or what are the things, activities that I do that generate that? And how can I measure those? So not understanding what drives your profit and actually understanding what makes that up. And if I pull this lever, what happens? Or if I pull that lever, what happens? They're probably two of the biggest mistakes that I see happening, especially in service-based businesses, in the trades and construction mining. Really understanding what those levers are and how you can pull on them, and what effect that has on your business.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Lovely stuff there. And I guess, one driver, I guess, and it's interesting with your industry, the trades and mining areas, is obviously let's talk about conversion percentages, right? So how much are you converting? And obviously in your space, there's a lot of quotes that go out, right? People send quotes out, and then you sort of got to get it done and stuff like that. So do you want to maybe get into a little bit about like that quote area, and then if you understand that process better and how to convert better, that could just be one little thing that could just completely transform the business potentially at the same time, right?
Yeah, absolutely it can. I'm glad you touched on that, because I missed that before. And that's also about understanding those levers and what it is that you can pull. In our industry, things are either tendered or quoted, the vast majority of our work. So you might send out 100 quotes, and if you win 50 of them, you're having a good year. And when you're talking big tender stuff, you might tender 30 tenders and win 2 for the year. So that's a lot of dead time. If you can understand who your key clients are, what it is they need, and improve your tender submissions, you can submit less tenders, less wasted time, but win more. If you need to win 3 to 4 big jobs a year to keep your business going at its current level, instead of quoting everything that comes across your desk, when you understand that process and you understand the drivers of the business and the drivers of the client, you can be selective on which ones you put in for, because you've got a better than average chance of winning that, and you don't have to just tender for everything. And it's like shooting a shotgun at the side of the bar, and you're bound to hit something, but is it the target you want? Whereas if you understand that process and you understand what the drivers of the client are in putting out that tender, it can help you put in a submission that's going to make you more likely to win that work, and you're more likely to hit the target. And then you can be a bit more selective on the tenders and the projects you tender for, because you can choose the ones because you know what drives them, and you've got a pretty good chance of winning it. Yeah. So that's I've actually created an ebook helping people to understand that process. So I'm glad you brought that up. They can download that off my website, but there's an ebook there, just that's the 7 steps to really have effective tenders, and it outlines those steps and what to do to really improve your chances and double your sort of conversion rate.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love that. And yeah, they can be a little big beast sometimes, tenders. And I've been on both sides of the coin, actually, where I used to help do the pricing, where I worked in a previous environmental company, and then I helped the clients with the tenders, and did some things on the other side. So it's interesting being on both sides of the coin with that. But yeah, definitely for the people that win it, can be big jobs too.
I like that too, because that was really powerful for me, as being on both sides, because I've also done a bit of consulting work that helped scopes and tenders, and that was a big eye opener, which I've now passed that knowledge on, through my clients and through this ebook, because I've sort of discovered what are some of the drivers are that don't necessarily know as a contractor. So that's something, like you say, it's pretty interesting seeing both sides, and they've got their own challenges.
They do, but you can make it work either which way. So yes, get good outcomes. The waste industry people didn't like me working for the clients and giving them all the secrets in the tenders and stuff like that. But it's all good. We do what we've got to do, depending on what side we're on, to be able to get the best outcome, right? Depending on
absolutely.
Yeah, love it, mate. Awesome stuff. And you touched a little bit before about coaching and mentoring, right? Where excuse me, extremely powerful to have, coaches and mentors that help us in our journey. And do you want to maybe share your experience with coaching, mentoring, like how it's helped you today? Obviously, we're both coaches, mentors in certain areas that we do, and we help our clients. But how has it helped you, and how important is it to have people like that with us?
Yeah, look, I can't stress enough. Throughout my whole career, I've had mentors and coaches, and some in a formal mentor engagement, or some just my boss that were like a mentor that taught me a wealth of knowledge around all sorts of things. And the reality is that I wouldn't be where I am today without coaches and mentors. And, for the last probably 5 or 6 years, I've paid for a coach. I'm actually probably back as far as 2012. I've paid for coaches and mentors and to work with, to help learn skills, and to have someone there that can guide you when you run astray, or have a third party perspective that can just help shift the way you look at something. And often I've found the biggest gains for me have been in the coaching sessions where I've struggled with the challenge, and they've helped me to deal with the problem, or to find solutions that I would never have thought of before. And I've had some of my biggest learnings and biggest realizations, some of the most powerful moments in my journey as a leader and as a business owner have come through coaching. And it's the power of questions that happen with coaching, and it's asking questions and not just necessarily telling people what to do. And that's where the coaching comes into it, because you can have mentors that show you how to do things, and that's fantastic. But I think when you add in that element of coaching, it adds another dynamic that really, really embeds, and it's so powerful when you find a good coach. And look, we've had the same coach at a couple of different throughout times for different niches and different things. We both use Kerr and Ray as a mentor now. And there's some of the power of some of the things that we've learned and we now share with our clients is absolutely, I can't say enough how powerful that is. And I'm sure if I had some of my clients on here, they would share some of the things that they've shared with me about how powerful it is, and the shifts that they've had in the 3, 6, 12 months that I've been working with them.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. So I completely agree with that, wouldn't be where I am without coaches and mentors. And I know you mentioned it before, right? Invested like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Into our own development. And, this is why we're like this right now, right? To everybody here listening, it's like we weren't born like this, right? Yeah, we've all got certain skills and things, you got, naturally, I guess, as you grow up. But we've had to build ourselves this way and learn from people that have done it already or can bring out the best in us, right? In that way to make us have those breakthroughs, those realizations as well, which is extremely powerful. So completely agree, Michael, as well.
Yeah, it's like I said, I can't say enough. Like, what you invest in yourself comes back tenfold, not only in financial rewards, but in happiness and joy and the way you more fulfilled in your life. Like, I'm a father too, and I love my kids, and I get to now share some of the things that I never knew as a kid or as a teenager growing up with my kids now, and the impact that will have through their lives and into the future is, I just can't state enough how powerful it is to get some coaches and learn some of these things. Whether it's us or someone else, get some coaches and get how powerful that is.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. So good. And a lot of the time we talk about all these good things and what we should do, but we don't necessarily talk as much about the big challenges or the failures or something like that. And it happens to us, right? Like you talked a little about, we have some bad days, but it's like, highlighting this thing is that, business is challenging, right? At the same time. So do you want to maybe share like a big challenge or failure, whatever we want to call the word, or something that happened to you in business and how you sort of had to overcome it as well?
Yeah, look, probably one of the most powerful lessons that I ever had was about neediness and letting my ego sort of get involved. We did a lot of project work in the business, like I said, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects. And, a project comes to town, and we were sort of the contractor that did projects in town. And there was a bit of competition from outside. And I went into the engagement needing the project, sort of, I want this project. And what that did is it blocked my decision making when I looked at the project. I sort of dropped the margins down and took some risks on the pricing because I really, really wanted the project. And what that led me to do is to miss some key things in the project because I wanted it so bad. I'd had my blinkers on and I wasn't having a whole big picture look at it and reviewing it properly. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process where we lost, as well as, lost revenue because we were busy tied up in a job not making us any money, which is the double impact of working for free. Not only do you you lose money on that project, you lose the potential work you could be doing. It's like build work, so it's a double hit. And what that helped me to understand is that when you go into these engagements, you need to come in with the mindset that you don't have the problem they do. You don't need to build a new school, they do. You don't need to do the electrical work or the building work or the boiler making work, they do. So when you don't come from a place of neediness, you hold far more weight and power in the conversation, and that you can't be controlled. Having confidence in what you do, and this is the power of knowing your numbers. You can make smarter decisions because you understand your numbers, you know where you are, and you're confident with them because you've put the time and effort in to understand your numbers and the drivers, and you don't get caught being desperate for the next job and doing anything and not understanding the numbers and what impact that's going to have on your business and your job. It was one of the key lessons that I learned about approaching tenders and projects, and it was a big failure at the time. It cost the business a lot, and we really struggled for a year or two after that, to regain the cash flow and the confidence in quoting bigger jobs again, because it really took a hit. I was only pretty young, I was probably only 30 or 31 or something at the time, and I thought I was invincible because we'd won a heap of projects. And it was a really powerful lesson about keeping your ego in check and also knowing your numbers, and don't be needy, because as soon as you're needy, you hand all power over to the client and they can control the pricing.
Yeah, amazing points there, mate. Love that as well. And just been so much gold that you've shared with us today. And I guess as we're wrapping up now a little bit more, what one key piece of advice would you give to all the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
Feed your mind with good stuff. Like what you put into your mind is what comes out. If you're watching the news and sitting there flicking on YouTube and watching all the rubbish, and no disrespect to YouTube, there's lots of good stuff on there too, but watching all the crap and feeding your mind with rubbish, you're going to get rubbish out. So what you put into your body and your mind is what you're going to get out. So spend the time and money, invest, read books, get coaches, mentor, training, like put time and effort into your own development, because that'll pay dividends throughout the business and for the success of that business in the long run. It's probably the single biggest piece of advice that I give any person, any young entrepreneur or any business owner, is do the work on yourself first and invest time, energy and effort, and it'll pay dividends in your business tenfold.
Yeah, love it, mate. Completely agree with that. Yeah, got to feed our mind with the good stuff so we can portray that out into the world as well.
Good stuff like this podcast.
Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Doing some awesome stuff, getting some awesome guests like yourself as well to share a lot of golden nuggets along the way, mate. So love it. Powerful stuff. And yeah, we connected through our networks, with similar coaches as well at different times where I learned about, your awesome journey from your 15 years experience working in and leading a successful trade contractor business in the building and construction and mining industry to now being the owner of Awakened Business. You're an awesome guy, and I'm sure you continue to help create freedom for trade and mining business owners as well. Very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So, Michael, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Look, on all the socials, all the regular channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Awakened Business on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, or on my personal Facebook page at Michael Scotney, or my website, www.awakenedbusiness.com.au. Jump on there, and all the contact details are on the website. So either one of those on my socials or on the website, reach out, and happy to chat.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Definitely check out Michael, all the gold that he shared with us today. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. If you want to grow, scale, cut costs, and increase profit in your business, you can reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. And I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you'll know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.